members of the House, we believe that all of the government's policies are meant to support and protect people's life. This is why government bans the website that endorses the people to commit suicide, that endorses people to make anorexics and bulimic disease speakers. This is exactly why government should protect the people's life when this is about lives or death speakers. So we believe that their personal choices can be trumped when this involves the matter of life or death. And Karina's points is all about 2 points. The first one is about the pursuit of happiness. Secondly, about the religious autonomy. Now go to the first ideas that people, even if they are saved, at the survival of their life, this will be meaningless. But we don't say so, because we believe that these people, when they are they're in such a very dilemmatic conditions, when these people might have to obey the religion's order to remain impure, but also they will have also the another dilemmatic conditions that they have to they have the hopes to keep on live for their children, for accompanying their children to go to universities, for keep on feeding their wives and their families there. We believe that these patients are on a very limited conditions, and we believe that there are so many other factors that can affect these people's life even after their state figures. We believe that this is when government should jump in, because government need to maximize the hopes of these patients to keep on living these figures. Because we believe that even after they have been saved, there might be other factors that can reignite their dreams, that can remind them of their purposes in their lives. We believe that these people can be affected by the smiles and cheers of their family, that they will embrace them after they have been saved. So we believe that the purposes of the lives of these people cannot be just determined by the religious factors. There are other factors of psychological factors, such as keep on to living with to support their families and their children. Secondly, this is not all about the private choices of speakers, because lives of people also about the social contracts towards government. Because government has, in the US, has heavily subsidized the life of these people from the pensions fund, for the social safety networks, and even their medical treatment is one of these most heavily subsidized policy from government. It means that when government has given so much to these people, and these people have the chances to stay alive in the speakers, of course government needs to maximize their hopes to keep on living and stay contributing to our society by giving by feeding their children, by keeping the other families alive, so that they will be one part of society and contribute better to society. Second point is about the religion's autonomy. We believe the religion's autonomy is no longer infinite in our society, because this is all about public matters and public sphere. This is not only about this private sphere, but even if it is only in the private sphere, we believe that even if these people still have been survived, of course they can still apply the values of the religions, which is doing generosity or doing good things for the other societies. We believe that this is also inherent in every religion's teachings, to contribute to society and to do good things to their people. We believe this can be one of the other factors for these people that can still apply the religion's values. Speakers. Thank you. And also about the rational choices. We believe that in every hospital, we believe that these people's choices are no longer rational, because they are in the state of desperation. They can no longer determine which one's best in their life, whether to stay live on or whether to die homelessly. Because this is exactly why government is two steps in, and government knows better than its people, because government also have some authority upon their bodies to make them survive. Because I'm going to extend my arguments about the doctor's ethic and doctor's practice, because we believe that these choices of these patients do not only affect themselves, but also to the doctors and the other paramedics' work. Because the doctors and all the paramedics have the first priority to save their patients with all means possible. This is exactly why so many medical researches and innovations and medicines in the fastest growing conditions, because they are determined to help this patient to stay survive. But we believe that these doctors are countering the terminally ill patients every time, and then because this is so harsh and not easy for these doctors to inform the patients that, hey, you are about going to die unless you take some treatments. We believe that the first choices to make these information is hard enough for these doctors to bear in psychological situation, Mr. Speakers. And if these patients can reject the treatments that is offered by the doctors, then you will overburden the doctors and further on, because these doctors are seeing these patients are withering away in front of their eyes, when these doctors can still make some efforts to save their lives, Mr. Speakers. We believe that this is significantly harms the psychological burdens of these doctors, because medical work is very harsh, Mr. Speakers. Because doctors are seeing patients die every time and then, and they're seeing the soul of their families. We believe that not every doctor can go through this harsh world that easily, Mr. Speakers. Not to mention that this case is different with other failures or other patients' death, Mr. Speakers. Because this is exactly how the doctors can still have this self-control to survive this patient's future, Mr. Speakers. We believe that this significantly violates the ethics and rights of these doctors to save the patients and to help the other patients, Mr. Speakers. This is going to be such an unfair conditions for these doctors, because doctors should be respected at the very first times, because they have the intentions to save these other people. And the other harms is that doctors will be reluctant to take cases of these religious patients at the very first times, because they're traumatized by how they're being rejected and they're being yelling at these patients. That accuses the doctors are being too noisy and too lousy upon their lives, Mr. Speakers. We believe that in our policy, at least we give some protections to these doctors and also to appreciate doctors' ethics at the very first times, to appreciate the harsh conditions that doctors is going through, Mr. Speakers. Doctors will not be will have the more and also you should appreciate the doctor's ethics, because these ethics which to prioritize to saving the patients are the sole guidance and the savior of the professions of these patients, Mr. Speakers. So we believe that when these doctors are significantly harmed by these patients, then these patients' choices is no longer private and they affect public matters. And we believe that the government has some say upon these individuals. Thank you.